I hacked my sister's Instagram and destroyed her perfect life. And honestly, I'd do it again. Look, I know how that sounds. Trust me, I do. But before you judge me, before you call me crazy or bitter or whatever else you're thinking right now, just hear me out. Because the thing is, Brooke took everything from me first. My name is Kelsey Harlan, and for as long as I can remember, my older sister has been the golden child. The one everyone loved. The soccer star with the scholarship, the perfect smile, the life that looked like it came straight out of a magazine. And me. I was just there. The quiet one. The one who read too much and talked too little. The one Dad actually paid attention to, because Brooke was always too busy being perfect for everyone else. But here's the thing nobody tells you about being the favorite of one parent when the other parent worships your sibling. It doesn't matter. Because when everything falls apart, you're the one left standing in the ruins while the golden child floats away unscathed. It was 2010. I was 16 years old. And the night Brooke opened her mouth at the dinner table, my entire world imploded. Mom, Dad's been cheating. I saw it with my own eyes. Just like that. No warning. No pulling Mom aside privately. No thinking about what this would do to me, to our family, to everything we'd built. She just said it. I remember the way Mom's fork clattered against her plate. The way Dad's face went white, then red, then white again. The way Brooke sat there crying like she was the victim, like she hadn't just detonated a bomb in the middle of our lives. And I remember thinking, why couldn't you just keep your mouth shut? That was 12 years ago. 12 years of watching my family disintegrate, of being shuffled between houses, of watching Dad remarry the woman who destroyed us and start a whole new family like we never existed. 12 years of Brooke moving on, building her perfect life in Seattle, getting the husband, the kids, the career, the Instagram followers who hung on her every word about forgiveness and growth and healing. While I stayed behind in Texas, alone, drowning in the wreckage she'd left behind. So yeah, when I finally got into her accounts last year and started crafting those posts about her fake affair, when I hit schedule and watched the timer count down, I felt alive for the first time in over a decade. And honestly, watching her perfect little world burn felt better than anything I'd felt since the day she destroyed mine. But here's the thing about revenge. It never quite goes the way you plan it. If you've ever felt betrayed by family, keep watching, because what happened next changed everything. And I mean everything. You want to know how we got here? How two sisters who used to share everything ended up on opposite sides of a war that landed me in federal prison. Let me take you back. Austin, Texas, summer of 2010. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Dad sold real estate. Mom taught third grade at the elementary school down the street. We had the house with the pool in the backyard, the golden retriever, the whole suburban dream package. Brooke was 18, about to head off to UT on a full ride for soccer. I was 16, counting down the days until she left so I could finally have our shared bathroom to myself. We weren't close, never had been, really. She was the extrovert, always surrounded by friends, always at practice or parties or something. I was the one who spent Friday nights in my room writing terrible poetry and reading fantasy novels. But Dad got me. He'd take me on these long drives through the hill country on weekends. Just us. We'd stop at random diners, talk about books, about life, about his plans to open his own agency someday. He told me things he didn't tell anyone else. About growing up poor, about his own dad leaving, about how hard he'd worked to give us a better life. Those drives were everything to me. Mom and Brooke had their thing too. All those soccer games, the college prep, the constant celebrating of every little achievement. They'd come home with matching Starbucks cups, talking and laughing about stuff I wasn't part of. It didn't bother me, not really. Because I had Dad. But things had been off for a while. Dad working late, coming home smelling like perfume that wasn't Mom's, taking calls in the garage at weird hours. Mom noticed. I could see it in the way she'd watch him, this tight expression on her face like she was holding something back. Brooke noticed too, apparently. She just decided to do something about it. That June evening, she came home early from practice. Said coach had canceled. I was in my room, door closed, music playing. I didn't hear anything. But Brooke walked into the living room and found Dad with Paige, his secretary. This woman from the office who was maybe 30, with long blonde hair and these tight pencil skirts she always wore to the company picnics. According to Brooke, they were kissing, just kissing on our couch. She freaked out, started screaming. Dad panicked, tried to calm her down, begged her not to say anything. It was a mistake, he told her. It'll never happen again. Please, Brooke, think about your mother, think about Kelsey. And for about 3 hours, she did think about it. She sat through dinner, pushed food around her plate. Mom asked if she was feeling okay. I'm fine, Brooke said. But she wasn't fine. Because right as Mom was clearing the dishes, right as I was about to escape back to my room, Brooke started crying. And then she said it. Mom, Dad's been cheating. I saw it with my own eyes. The next few minutes were chaos. Mom dropping a plate, Dad shouting, Brooke crying harder, me sitting there frozen, trying to understand what was happening. It was just a kiss, Dad said. Brooke, tell her it was just a kiss. It doesn't matter, Brooke screamed. You betrayed her, you betrayed all of us. Mom's face went completely blank, like someone had just unplugged her. Get out, she said quietly. Vanessa, please. Get out. And he did. He grabbed his keys and walked out the door, and I remember running after him, grabbing his arm in the driveway. Dad, wait. I'll call you tomorrow, sweetheart, he said. His eyes were wet. I promise this is just, I need to let your mom cool down. But she never cooled down. By Monday, she'd called a divorce lawyer. By Friday, Dad had moved his stuff out to some condo downtown. And by the end of summer, Brooke was gone to college, leaving me alone in a half-empty house with a mother who cried herself to sleep every night. Comment below if you've ever been the forgotten child, because what came next made everything so much worse. I tried calling Dad. He'd answer sometimes, but the conversations were weird, strained. The drives stopped. The talks stopped. I'm sorry, Kels, he'd say. I'm dealing with a lot right now. It felt like he was slipping away. Like Brooke's big revelation hadn't just broken up our parents, it had taken my father from me too. And the worst part, everyone acted like Brooke was the hero. She did the right thing, Mom would say. She's so brave for telling the truth. Brave, brave. She destroyed our family because she couldn't mind her own business, because she had to be the righteous one, the one with the moral high ground. I told her as much one night when she came home for Thanksgiving. You ruined everything, I said. If you just kept your mouth shut, maybe they could have worked it out. Maybe. Worked it out, Brooke stared at me. Kelsey, he was cheating. It was one kiss. You said it yourself. And now Dad's gone and Mom's a mess and I have nobody because you couldn't just let them handle it like adults. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. You got to leave. You got to go off to college and play soccer and pretend everything's fine. I'm the one stuck here cleaning up your mess. She tried to hug me. I shoved her away. I hate you, I said. And I meant it. God help me, in that moment I really meant it. Brooke left the next morning, didn't even say goodbye. And honestly, good riddance. But that hate, it didn't go anywhere. It just sat inside me, festering, growing, waiting. The divorce took over a year to finalize. A year of lawyers and court dates, and Mom crying in the bathroom at 2 a.m. A year of Dad's phone calls getting shorter and less frequent. A year of watching my GPA tank because I couldn't focus on anything except the fact that my entire life had been ripped apart. And through it all, Brooke was living her best life in Austin at UT. She'd come home for holidays with stories about her teammates, her classes, this guy Connor she'd started dating. She'd post photos on Facebook, back when Facebook was still a thing, of her at parties, at games, smiling like she didn't have a care in the world. Meanwhile, I was sharing a bedroom with her in the smaller house Mom had to move us into after the divorce settlement. This cramped rental in a neighborhood where the paint was peeling and the pool was a concrete hole filled with leaves. Mom got primary custody. Dad got us every other weekend. Except those weekends kept getting canceled. Something came up at work, sweetheart. Paige and I have plans this weekend, but how about next time? I'll make it up to you, Kels, I promise. He never did. By my senior year of high school, I'd stopped expecting him to show up, stopped calling. What was the point? And Brooke, she tried to play the concerned older sister a few times. How are you doing? She'd text. Fine, I'd respond. Mom says your grades are slipping. Do you need help with anything? I'm fine. Kelsey, I know this is hard, but... I said I'm fine. She stopped asking after that. Good. I didn't need her pity. I didn't need her fake concern. I just needed her to stay in her lane and leave me alone. But then came the real gut punch. November 2013, my senior year. Dad called. Actually called, which was rare enough that I almost didn't answer. Hey, Kels, got some news. My heart jumped. Maybe he was moving back. Maybe he'd realized what a mistake he'd made. Maybe. Paige and I are getting married. Silence. And we're moving to Houston. Her family's there, and I got a job offer with a firm downtown. Fresh start, you know. My throat closed up. Kels, you still there? Yeah, I managed. Congrats. Thanks, honey. And listen, once we're settled, you can come visit. There's a guest room and everything. A guest room. Like I was some distant relative instead of his daughter. Sure, I said. Sounds great. I hung up. And I didn't cry. I was done crying. Instead, I texted Brooke. Dad's marrying her. Moving to Houston. Hope you're happy. She called immediately. I let it go to voicemail. Kelsey, pick up, please. I know you're upset, but this isn't my fault. Dad made his own choices. He's the one who... I deleted it before she could finish. Because here's what Brooke never understood. Dad wouldn't have had to make those choices if she'd just kept her mouth shut. If she'd let them work it out privately. If she hadn't turned it into this huge, dramatic thing. If she'd thought about anyone besides herself for 5 seconds. But no. Brooke had to be the hero. And I was the one paying the price. The wedding happened in March. I didn't go. Mom didn't either. Brooke flew down for it, though. Posted pictures on Instagram. Yeah, she joined Instagram by then, of her and Dad and Paige, all smiling, all happy. Family is what you make it red, the caption said. I stared at that photo for an hour. Family is what you make it. Easy for her to say. She'd made Dad forgive her somehow. Made him forget that she was the reason everything fell apart. Me, I was erased. Replaced by Paige and her shiny new life in Houston. If you've ever felt replaced in your own family, drop a comment. Because the resentment I felt, it was about to consume me completely. I graduated high school in June. Barely. Mom threw a small party, just us and a couple of her teacher friends. Dad sent a card with $100 bill in it. Didn't even show up. Brooke came, though. Brought Connor, who she'd been dating for 2 years by then. I'm so proud of you, Kels, she said, trying to hug me. I let her, but I didn't hug back. Thanks. So what's next? College? Are you applying somewhere? I shrugged. Community college, maybe. Gonna work for a while first. Her face did that thing. That pitying, concerned thing. Kelsey, you're so talented. You could get into a great school if you just... Just what? Had my life together like you. Had parents who could afford to help me. Had a full-ride scholarship because I'm athletic and perfect. Connor shifted uncomfortably. Brooke's smile tightened. That's not fair. You're right, I said. Nothing about this is fair. I walked away before she could respond. And that was the last time I saw her in person for almost a decade. She moved to Seattle after graduation, got a job in marketing, married Connor in this beautiful outdoor ceremony I saw on Instagram, had a kid, then another. Mom moved up there to be near the grandkids. Everyone just moved on. Except me. I stayed in Texas, got an apartment in Dallas, started freelancing as a graphic designer because I was decent with Photoshop and it was something I could do from home. The work was inconsistent. The pay was worse. I dated a few guys, but none of them stuck around long enough to matter. "You're kind of intense," one of them said after 3 months. "You have a lot of anger," another one told me during our breakup. Yeah, I did. And I knew exactly where to direct it. Every time I opened Instagram, which was daily, multiple times, like an addiction I couldn't kick, there she was. Brooke's perfect life. Family photos, date nights with Connor, inspirational quotes about forgiveness and growth, posts about her job promotion, her kids' first days of school, her morning runs through the Seattle parks. She even became an influencer. Started posting about eco-friendly parenting, got brand deals, built up this huge following of people who thought she was amazing. 50,000 followers. 50,000. People eating up her fake wisdom about healing from family trauma and choosing peace. I'd read the comments sometimes. "You're such an inspiration. Your family is goals. I wish I could be as forgiving as you." And I'd sit there in my studio apartment, eating ramen because it was all I could afford that week, thinking, you don't know her. You don't know what she did. She DSTROID family, MY family. And now she gets to play life coach on the internet. The jealousy was eating me alive. I knew it was, but I couldn't stop looking. Couldn't stop comparing my life to hers. Couldn't stop wondering what I'd done to deserve being stuck while she soared. The years crawled by like that, 2015, 2016, 2017. Each year, Brooke's life got better. Each year, mine stayed exactly the same. Stuck in the same apartment, same dead-end freelance work, same empty weekends scrolling through her feed, watching her live the life I should have had. By 2020, she had her own podcast, talking about family relationships, about healing, about forgiveness. The irony was suffocating. I listened to one episode once, just to torture myself, I guess. She talked about our family, didn't name me specifically, but I knew. "I had a younger sister who struggled after our parents' divorce," she said in that soft, therapy voice she'd perfected. "And I wish I could have done more to help her, to show her that our father's choices weren't her fault or mine. But sometimes people aren't ready to heal, and you have to let them go. Let them go. Like I was the problem, like I was the one who needed to change. Not her, never her." I threw my phone across the room that day. Then came 2022. Dad had a heart attack, minor one but enough to scare him. He called. First time I'd heard his voice in almost 3 years. "Hey, Kelsey, it's Dad." Like I wouldn't recognize his number. "I know it's been a while, but I've been thinking about things about us, and I want to fix this. Can we talk?" Part of me wanted to hang up. But another part, the part that was still that 16-year-old girl who just wanted her dad back, said yes. We met at a coffee shop in Houston. I drove 3 hours to get there. He looked older, grayer, tired. "Thanks for coming," he said. We talked for 2 hours. He apologized, said he'd been a coward, said he'd let his guilt about the affair push me away when he should have fought harder to stay in my life. "I'm sorry, Kels, for everything." And I wanted to forgive him. I really did. But then he said, "Brooke and I have been talking a lot lately. She's helped me work through a lot of stuff. She's really grown into an amazing woman." Brooke. Of course it came back to Brooke. "She's the one who pushed me to reach out to you, actually," she thought. I didn't hear the rest. Because all I could think was, even now, even in MY moment with MY father, she's the hero. She gets credit for this too. I left that coffee shop feeling worse than when I'd arrived. Subscribe now. You won't believe what I did next. Because this is where things got really dark. And that night, scrolling through Instagram again, I saw it. A post from Brooke, a family photo. Her Connor, the kids' mom, and dad. Family reunion. Red so grateful for second chances and new beginnings. They'd all gotten together. In Seattle. Without me. Without even telling me. I wasn't even MENTIONED. I stared at that photo until my vision blurred. And something inside me just snapped. They'd moved on, all of them, built this new version of the family that didn't include me. And Brooke was at the center of it, smiling, perfect, loved. While I sat alone in Dallas, forgotten. No. No more. If she could destroy my life and get away with it, then I could destroy hers too. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat there on my couch, staring at that photo. That perfect, happy family photo that I wasn't in. The comments were rolling in. Beautiful family. This made me tear up, so happy for you all. Proof that healing is possible, Red. Healing. Right. They'd all healed, moved on, forgiven and forgotten. And I was just, what, collateral damage? I opened a bottle of wine, cheap stuff from the corner store, drank it straight from the bottle because I didn't feel like washing a glass. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Kelsey, I'm sorry you couldn't make it to the reunion. We missed you. Maybe next time, Red. Couldn't make it. Like I'd been invited and just decided not to come. I threw my phone across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. For a long time, I just sat there in the dark, breathing hard, feeling this heat build up in my chest like something was going to explode. When did it happen? When did I become the family ghost? The one they talked about in past tense, the one they missed but never actually made an effort to include. And why did Brooke get to be the glue that held them all together, when SHE was the one who broke everything in the first place? I picked up my phone. Screen was cracked, but it still worked. Opened Instagram again. Scrolled through Brooke's feed. Years of it. Her whole perfect life documented in curated squares. The engagement, the wedding, the pregnancy announcements, the first steps, the family trips, the motivational quotes about forgiveness. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Oh, screw you, Brooke. I kept scrolling. And then I remembered something. Back when we were teenagers, before everything went to hell, we used to share everything. Email passwords for school projects, Netflix logins, even our journal entries sometimes when we were feeling particularly close, which wasn't often, but it happened. Brooke's passwords were always the same pattern. Something about soccer, a number, maybe a symbol. I opened my laptop. This was crazy, but I had to try. Went to Instagram's login page. Typed in her email. The old one from high school. I knew she still used it because it was linked to her professional accounts. Tried the first password I remembered. Soccer Star 88. Invalid. Okay, variation. Soccer Star 88. Invalid. One more. Soccer 88 star. Invalid. Damn it. I sat back, took another drink. Then I remembered she'd had to change it once in college because of a security thing. She'd told me about it over Christmas break. What had she changed it to? Something about UT, her school. I tried. UT Soccer 88. Invalid. Hook M 88. Invalid. Wait. Her jersey number. She wore number 12. Soccer 12 star. Invalid. Star Soccer 12. The screen loaded. And just like that, I was in. My heart was pounding so hard, I could hear it in my ears. This was crazy. This was illegal. This was... The password recovery screen popped up. Would you like to update your recovery information? My hands were shaking. I should log out, delete my browser history, pretend this never happened. But instead, I clicked through to her account settings. And I realized something. That old email was connected to everything. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even her business accounts. A password reset would give me access to all of it. One click. That's all it would take. I sat there for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. The wine bottle was empty now. My head felt fuzzy, detached. And in that foggy, angry, wine-soaked state, I thought, she took everything from me. My family, my father, my future. She gets to be happy while I'm drowning. She gets to be the hero while I'm the forgotten one. She gets everything. And I get nothing. My finger hovered over the mouse. One click. Just one. What's the worst that could happen? I clicked. Password reset email sent. I logged into her old email account. Same password pattern. It worked on the second try. Found the reset link. Changed her Instagram password. Then her Facebook, her LinkedIn. Within 20 minutes, I had access to her entire digital life. And I sat there, staring at her Instagram dashboard, at the draft posts she had scheduled, at her DMs with sponsors and friends and Connor. And I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt powerful. I felt like I had control over something. Like maybe, just maybe, I could balance the scales. Make her feel a fraction of what I'd felt. The abandonment, the betrayal, the gut-wrenching humiliation of being erased from your own family. I opened a new post draft. Started typing. If you think this is bad, just wait. Comment if you saw this coming. I can't keep this secret anymore. My hands were steady now. The wine had burned off into pure adrenaline. I've been seeing someone else, behind Connor's back, for months. This was insane. This was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. But God, it felt good. His name is Derek. We met at work, and I think I'm in love with him. I added details, made it sound real, made it sound devastating. Connor, if you're reading this, I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. Then I went hunting for photos. Stock images of couples, generic enough to be believable. I photoshopped Brooke's face onto them, not perfectly, but good enough that at first glance, in the shock of the moment, people might believe it. Her at a bar with a man, her in what looked like a hotel lobby, her laughing, touching someone's arm. I scheduled 3 posts, Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Enough time between them for maximum chaos. For the story to spread. For her perfect little world to implode. I sat back and looked at what I'd done. The posts were scheduled. The timer was counting down. 48 hours until detonation. And you know what? I didn't feel guilty. I felt alive. For the first time since I was 16 years old, sitting at that dinner table watching my family disintegrate, I felt like I had power. Like I mattered. Like someone would finally see Brooke for what she really was. A destroyer. A fraud. Someone who broke things, and then got praised for picking up a few pieces. I closed my laptop, finished the wine, and went to bed with a smile on my face. Let's see how she likes it, I thought. Let's see how she likes having her life torn apart by someone she trusted. Let's see how forgiving she is when she's the one begging for mercy. 2 days. That's all I had to wait. And honestly, I couldn't wait to watch it burn. But here's what I didn't know then, what I couldn't have known in my wine-drunk, revenge-fueled haze. Sometimes when you light a fire, you don't get to control which way the wind blows. And sometimes the person who gets burned the worst is you. Friday came. I woke up at 6 a.m., couldn't sleep anymore. Too wired, too anxious. The first post was scheduled to go live at 8 a.m. Seattle time, 10 a.m. my time. I made coffee, burned the first pot because I wasn't paying attention, made another. Sat on my couch with my laptop open, refreshing Brooke's Instagram page every 30 seconds. 9:45 a.m. 9:52 a.m. 9:58 a.m. My heart was hammering. This is it, I thought. This is where everything changes. 10:00 a.m. Refresh. And there it was. The post, live on her feed. The photo of her at the bar with the mystery man. The caption I'd written. I can't keep this secret anymore. I've been seeing someone else behind Connor's back. His name is Derek, we met at work, and I think I'm in love with him. Connor, if you're reading this, I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. But I can't live this lie anymore. Broken heart. I stared at it. For about 10 seconds, nothing happened. Then the first comment appeared. Wait, what? Then another. Is this real? Brooke, is your account hacked? Oh my God, Connor, I'm so sorry. The comments started flooding in. 10, 20, 50. Within 5 minutes, there were over 100. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Then another. Then my phone started ringing. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again immediately. I turned my phone off. Sat there watching the chaos unfold on my laptop screen. People were tagging Connor in the comments, tagging Brooke's friends, tagging her sponsors. This is so disappointing. I can't believe this. I thought you were different. Unfollowing. Can't support this kind of behavior. Her follower count started dropping. 50,000, 49,987, 49,954. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt numb. Like I was watching something happen from very far away. The second post went live at 2 p.m. This one was worse. The hotel photo, more details about the fake affair. Derek and I have been meeting here every Thursday for the past 3 months. I know this will destroy my family, but I can't pretend anymore. The life I've been showing you isn't real. None of it is real. More chaos. More comments. People were calling her a liar, a fraud, a hypocrite. She preached about forgiveness and healing, and she was doing this. Her poor husband, her poor kids. This is disgusting. Sponsors started pulling out. I watched them leave comments. We will no longer be working with you. This doesn't align with our brand values. Her follower count kept dropping. 48,000. 47,000. 46,000. I closed my laptop. Went to the bathroom and threw up. What had I done? No, she deserved this. She did this to me first, to Dad, to all of us. I was just balancing the scales. I turned my phone back on. 17 missed calls from Mom. 12 from numbers I didn't know. 3 voicemails. I listened to the first one. Mom's voice shaking. Kelsey, honey, have you seen Brooke's Instagram? Something terrible is happening. Her account must be hacked, it has to be. She's not answering her phone. Connor took the kids and left. He's devastated. This is a nightmare. If you talk to her, please call me back. Please. Guilt twisted in my stomach. Connor left. With the kids. I hadn't thought about the kids. Delete that thought. They'll be fine. This is about Brooke, about what she deserves. The third post went live Saturday afternoon. This one I'd made extra detailed, extra devastating. To everyone asking if this is real, yes, it is. I've been living a lie for years. The perfect marriage, the perfect family, the perfect life. It's all been a facade. Derek makes me feel alive in a way Connor never could. I know I'm losing everything, but at least I'll finally be honest. I'm sorry to everyone I've hurt, especially my children. Mommy made a terrible mistake. That last line made me want to vomit again. But I'd written it, I'd scheduled it, and now it was out there. The internet went nuclear. People were writing think pieces about her, calling her a narcissist, demanding apologies. Her follower count, 41,000. Then 38,000. Local news in Seattle picked it up. Popular influencer admits to affair, family in crisis. That's when I started to panic. Because this wasn't just Instagram drama anymore. This was real-world consequences. I tried to log back into her account to delete the posts. Password invalid. She'd changed it. Of course she had. I tried the email, also changed. I was locked out. The posts were still there, though, still public, still spreading. I spent the rest of Saturday in bed, covers pulled over my head, phone off, trying to pretend this wasn't happening. But it was happening. And it was way worse than I'd planned. Sunday morning, I finally turned my phone back on. 43 missed calls. Too many voicemails to count. And one text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Connor. I know what you did. The police are involved. You should get a lawyer." My blood went cold. Police? No. This was supposed to be anonymous. This was supposed to be untraceable. I'd used public Wi-Fi at the coffee shop down the street. I'd been careful. Hadn't I? Another text came through. "They traced the IP address. They have you on security camera. It's over, Kelsey." I dropped my phone. Felt the walls closing in. What had I done? What the hell had I done? I spent the next 2 days in a fog. Didn't eat, barely slept, just sat there waiting for the knock on the door. Mom called 60 times. I didn't answer. Brooke called once. I stared at her name on my screen until it stopped ringing. Then Tuesday morning, there it was. The knock. "Kelsey Harlan, we need you to come with us." 2 police officers, a man and a woman, both looking at me like I was something they'd scraped off their shoe. "What's this about?" I asked, even though I knew. "Computer fraud, identity theft, harassment, you're under arrest." They read me my rights. Cuffed me. Walked me out of my apartment building while my neighbors watched. If you're not subscribed, you need to be. This story is about to take a turn nobody saw coming. At the station, they showed me everything. The IP address from the coffee shop, traced to the exact day and time I'd accessed Brooke's accounts. Security footage from the coffee shop camera. Me, sitting there with my laptop, clear as day. My search history from my home computer. How to hack Instagram. Photoshop tutorials. Can you trace a password reset? They had everything. "Do you want to tell us your side?" the detective asked. I asked for a lawyer. Smart move, probably, but it wouldn't matter. Because they had me. And I'd been stupid enough to leave a trail a mile wide. The charges kept piling up. Federal computer fraud, state harassment charges, defamation. Connor was suing me civilly for the damage to his reputation and emotional distress. Brooke was suing me for lost income, all those sponsorships she'd lost. The number kept growing. $50,000, $80,000, $100,000. Money I didn't have, would never have. My court-appointed lawyer looked exhausted before we even started. "They have everything," she said. "Video, digital footprints, your own search history. The best we can hope for is a plea deal." "I want to go to trial," I said. She stared at me. "Why?" "Because she needs to hear what she did to our family, to me." "Kelsey, that's not how this works. This isn't about your family drama. This is about the law, and you broke it, badly." "She broke it first. She broke my entire life." "She told your mother about an affair. That's not illegal. What you did is." I fired her. Got another lawyer. One I couldn't afford but hired anyway because she said she'd fight for me. She didn't fight very hard. Because by the time we got to trial in 2024, more evidence had surfaced. Including something I'd completely forgotten about. Old emails, from years ago, sent from my account to Brooks. "I hate you. You destroyed everything. I hope you suffer the way I've suffered. One day you'll get what's coming to you." The prosecution read them aloud in court. Made me sound like a psychopath. Made this look premeditated, long-term, obsessive. And honestly, they weren't wrong. I had been obsessed. For 12 years, I'd been nursing this hatred, letting it grow, letting it consume me. Until it ate me alive from the inside out. The trial lasted 2 weeks. The media ate it up. Sister versus sister, the digital vendetta. They interviewed people who knew us, old classmates, neighbors, even Dad, though he didn't say much. Just, I love both my daughters. This is a tragedy for our family. Brooke testified. I had to sit there and watch her cry on the stand. She talked about finding the posts, about Connor packing up the kids and leaving, about the sponsors dropping her, about the death threats she'd received from people who believed the fake affair was real. I've spent years working to build trust with my audience, she said, to share my story of healing and forgiveness, and my own sister. She tried to destroy all of it. She tried to destroy me. She didn't look at me once. When it was my turn to testify, my lawyer told me to show remorse. But when I got up there, looking at Brooke sitting in the front row next to Connor and Mom and Dad, all that remorse evaporated. You want to know why I did it? I said. Because she tore my family apart when I was 16 years old. Because she couldn't keep her mouth shut about something that wasn't her business. Because she got to move on and be happy while I was left behind, forgotten, erased. Because she's been playing the victim for over a decade when she's the one who started all of this. My lawyer tried to stop me. I kept going. Everything I lost, my father, my family, my future, it's because of her. And she gets to be the hero. She gets to write Instagram posts about forgiveness while I'm drowning. No, she needed to know what it felt like. She needed to suffer. The courtroom was silent. The jury was staring at me. And I realized, too late, that I'd just buried myself. The verdict came back in less than 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was 2 weeks later. 18 months in federal prison. Plus restitution. $127,000 to Brooke for lost income and legal fees. I'd be paying that off for the rest of my life. As they led me out in handcuffs, again, the cameras were everywhere. And there, in the back of the courtroom, I saw Brooke. She was crying, but not the way I expected. Not tears of victory or satisfaction. Just sadness. Like she'd lost something too. Prison wasn't like the movies. It was worse. And also, duller. Federal facility outside Fort Worth. Minimum security, but still prison. Still walls and bars and guards and no privacy. I shared a cell with a woman named Rita who'd embezzled from her employer. She didn't talk much. Neither did I. We were good roommates that way. The first month was hell, learning the routines, the power dynamics, who to avoid, who to be polite to, how to keep your head down and just survive. I worked in the kitchen, woke up at 5 a.m. to prep breakfast for 500 women. Had a lot of time to think while chopping vegetables and washing dishes. Too much time. Because here's the thing about revenge. When it's all you've thought about for years, when it's the thing that's driven you, consumed you, defined you. And then it blows up in your face. You're left with nothing. Just emptiness. And the slow, creeping realization that maybe you were wrong. Not about everything. Brooke had destroyed our family, that part was true. But the rest of it, the obsession, the stalking, the destruction I'd caused, that was all me. Comment if you've ever realized you were the villain of your own story. Because I was about to learn something that would shatter everything I thought I knew. I got letters sometimes, not many. Mom wrote once a month, always the same kind of thing. I'm praying for you, I love you, please take care of yourself. She never visited. I didn't blame her. Dad wrote twice, both times saying he was sorry for not being there, sorry for choosing his new life over his old daughters, sorry for everything. I never wrote back. What was there to say? Brooke never wrote. But I heard about her anyway, because even in prison, people have phones, contraband tablets, ways to access the outside world. And Brooke's story had gone viral. Not for the fake affair posts. Those had been deleted and debunked within days. But for what came after. She'd posted about the whole thing, the hacking, the trial, the family drama. But not in the way I expected. not with anger or bitterness, or calls for me to rot in prison. She wrote about pain, about broken families, about how hurt people, about forgiveness. My sister Kelsey is in prison right now because of what she did to me, one post read. And I'm not going to lie, part of me wanted her there, wanted her to pay for the damage she caused, but the other part of me just feels sad, because I know where this started. I know the role I played in breaking our family. And I can't help but think, if I'd handled things differently back in 2010, would we be here today? The post had 300,000 likes. Comments poured in. This is so mature of you. You're an inspiration. The fact that you can still have compassion for her after what she did. Incredible. Her follower count had skyrocketed, not just back to 50,000. 120,000. Then 200,000. By the time I was 6 months into my sentence, she had over 500,000 followers. All because she'd turned our family's destruction into content. Into a redemption story. Her redemption story. I heard about the book deal through another inmate who'd read about it online. Brooke was writing a memoir. Sisters, Secrets, and Second Chances, a story of betrayal and forgiveness. Coming out next year. Advance, $400,000. I laughed when I heard that. Laughed so hard I cried. Because of course she'd profit from this. She always landed on her feet, didn't she? Meanwhile, I was $127,000 in debt, serving time, and would be lucky to get a job at McDonald's when I got out. But here's what really got me. Connor took her back. I found out through one of Mom's letters. She mentioned it casually, like it was good news I'd want to hear. Brooke and Connor are working things out. They're in couples therapy. It's been hard, but they're committed to making it work for the kids. It's really beautiful to see. Beautiful. I crumpled the letter and threw it across the cell. Rita looked up from her bunk. Bad news. My sister gets everything, I said. I tried to destroy her life and she just bounces back, gets more famous, makes more money, keeps her perfect family, and I'm here with nothing. Rita was quiet for a minute. Then, maybe that's the point. What? Maybe you were never supposed to win. Maybe the universe just knows. That's stupid. She shrugged. Maybe, but you're here and she's not, so somebody knows something. I wanted to argue, but I was too tired. 8 months in, I got a visitor. Not Mom, not Dad. Brooke. I almost refused to see her, almost told the guard to send her away. But curiosity won. Or maybe just exhaustion. I was tired of fighting, tired of hatting, tired of everything. They brought me to the visiting room, sat me down at a table with a glass partition. And there she was. My sister. Looking older than I remembered, tired, but still put together in that way she always was. Hair done, makeup perfect, dressed like she was going to brunch after this. She picked up the phone on her side. I picked up mine. Hi, Kelsey. What do you want? She flinched. I wanted to see you. Why? So you can write another chapter for your book. That's not, she stopped, took a breath. Okay, maybe I deserved that. You deserve a lot of things. Yeah, I probably do. We sat there in silence for a minute. Then she said, I've been thinking a lot about that night, when I told Mom about Dad. Oh, here we go. No, just listen, please. I didn't say anything. She continued, I was 18. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought Mom deserved to know that secrets were poison, that honesty was always the answer. And maybe I was right. Maybe she did deserve to know. But I didn't think about you, about what it would do to you. I was so focused on being righteous, on doing the right thing, that I didn't consider that sometimes. Sometimes the right thing still destroys people. I felt something crack in my chest. You were 16, she said, and I took your dad away, not deliberately, but I did, and I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I wanted to scream at her, tell her sorry wasn't enough. Sorry didn't fix 12 years of pain. But instead, I just said, "You should have kept your mouth shut." Maybe Dad should have never cheated. Or maybe Mom should have asked him before I said anything. Or maybe there were 100 different ways that night could have gone, and none of them were going to be perfect. But you got the perfect ending anyway. She laughed bitterly. You think this is perfect? Kelsey, I almost lost everything. My marriage nearly ended. My kids saw their mom on the news being talked about like a cheater because of those posts you made. But Connor came back. After 8 months of therapy and me begging and him sleeping in the guest room and our kids asking every day if Daddy's leaving. Yeah, he came back, but it's not perfect. It's broken and we're trying to glue it together, and I don't know if it'll ever be the same. I didn't know what to say to that. And you want to know the worst part? She asked. I get it, what you did, I understand it. Don't. I do, because if someone had done to me what I did to you, if someone had taken my dad away, broken my family, and then just moved on like nothing happened, I'd want revenge too. Then why am I here and you're not? She looked down at her hands. Because I told the truth and you told a lie. I know that sounds sanctimonious, but that's the difference. What I did hurt people, but it was true. What you did. You made up a lie designed to destroy me, and that's illegal. The truth destroyed me just as much. I know, her voice cracked. I know it did, and I'm sorry. I will be sorry for the rest of my life. We sat there for a long time, not talking. Finally, she said, I need to tell you something Dad told me, right before he died. Wait, what? Dad's dead. Her face went pale. Oh God, you don't know. Mom was supposed to. When? 3 months ago. Kelsey, I'm so sorry, I thought. The room started spinning. How? His heart, it just gave out. He was in the hospital and he asked for both of us, and I thought Mom had told you. I couldn't breathe. Dad was dead. And I didn't even know. What did he tell you? I heard myself ask. Brooke's eyes filled with tears. The affair with Paige. It wasn't just a kiss, Kelsey. It had been going on for months. The whole thing, he lied about it. All these years, he let everyone think I'd exaggerated. Let you blame me, but it was real. The world tilted. He told me right before he died. Said he needed us both to know the truth. That you'd spent 12 years hatting me for something that wasn't my fault at all. That he was the one who failed us, not me. I couldn't process it. Everything I'd believed, everything I'd built my hatred on. It was based on a lie. Dad's lie. I'm not telling you this to make you feel worse, Brooke said. I'm telling you because you deserved to know. You deserved to know 12 years ago, and I'm sorry it took this long. The guard announced 5 minutes. Brooke leaned forward. When you get out, if you want to talk, if you want to try to, I don't know, be sisters again, or just exist in the same family without destroying each other, I'm willing to try. Why? Because you're my sister, and because I'm tired of fighting too, and because Dad asked us to promise, right before he died. He made us both promise we'd stop fighting. The guard called time. Brooke stood up, put her hand against the glass. This time, I put mine up too. For just a second. Then she was gone. And I was left sitting there, with the ruins of everything I thought I knew. I got out 3 months early for good behavior. December 2025. They gave me back my belongings in a plastic bag. Drove me to a halfway house in Dallas, where I'd spend the next 6 months under supervision. Mom picked me up from there the next day. We didn't talk about Dad, not yet. I wasn't ready. She'd made up the guest room for me, bought groceries, set out fresh towels. Thank you, I said. Of course, honey. That night, I finally let myself cry about Dad. About the fact that I'd wasted 12 years hatting the wrong person. About the fact that he died and I wasn't there. About the fact that I'd never get those drives through the hill country back. Never get to tell him I understood now. That I was sorry too. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my own apartment again. Not much, studio in an okay part of Dallas, but it's mine. I'm working 2 jobs, one at a coffee shop, one doing freelance design when I can get it, paying off that debt slowly, very slowly. $127,000 is a lot of money when you're making $12 an hour. But I'm doing it. Mom and I talk once a week. Sunday phone calls. We don't talk about the past much, just what we're doing now, how work is, what she's cooking for dinner. Small things, safe things. It's something. Brooke's book came out last month. I read it. Took me 3 weeks, because I kept having to put it down and walk away. But I read it. And you know what? It was fair. She didn't paint me as a monster, didn't paint herself as a saint. Just told the truth, both of our truths. The messy, complicated, painful truth about 2 sisters who loved each other and destroyed each other in equal measure. About a family that fell apart and couldn't figure out how to put itself back together. About forgiveness being harder than revenge ever was. We don't talk much, Brooke and me, a text here and there, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. But last week, she sent me a photo. Her and Connor and the kids, at a park in Seattle. And written on the back, the kids are asking about their Aunt Kelsey, maybe next summer. Maybe. I don't know yet. But I didn't delete it. I put it on my fridge. And that feels like progress. Because here's what I've learned. Forgiveness isn't a switch you flip. It's not a decision you make once and then it's done. It's a choice you make every single day. Some days I wake up and I'm still angry, still bitter about what I lost. Other days I wake up and I just feel tired, ready to move on. And some days, rare ones, but they're there, I wake up and I think maybe, just maybe, I can let this go. Not forget, never forget. But let go. Stop carrying it around like a weight. Stop letting it define me. I'm 31 years old. I've spent half my life hating my sister for something that wasn't even her fault. How much more time do I want to waste? The truth is, what I did to Brooke was worse than what she did to me. She told a truth that hurt. I told a lie that destroyed. And I have to live with that. Every day, I have to look in the mirror and know that I'm the person who hacked her sister's accounts, who fabricated an affair, who almost ruined her marriage, her career, her life, who went to prison for it. That's who I am now. But maybe that doesn't have to be all I am. Maybe I can be the person who made a terrible mistake and is trying to do better. The person who's learning to take responsibility instead of blaming everyone else. The person who's finally, slowly, painfully learning to let go. I don't know if Brooke and I will ever be close again. Probably not. Too much damage, too much history. But maybe we can exist in the same room without wanting to kill each other. Maybe we can share a holiday dinner without it ending in a fight. Maybe we can look at old photos of us as kids and remember that once, before everything went wrong, we were sisters. Not friends, but sisters. And maybe that's enough. So if you've made it this far, if you've listened to this whole messy, complicated, devastating story, I want you to ask yourself something. Is there someone in your life you've been holding a grudge against? Someone you've been blaming for years? Someone you've built up in your mind as the villain of your story? Are they really the villain? Or are you just looking for someone to blame because the truth is too complicated, too painful, too hard to face? Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever been wrong about someone for years? Because I need to know I'm not the only one who wasted half their life on the wrong enemy. I'm not saying forgive everyone. I'm not saying let people walk all over you. But maybe take a step back. Look at the whole picture. Ask yourself, is this grudge worth what it's costing you? Because it cost me everything. My family, my freedom, my future. And for what? For revenge that didn't even work. For justice that was never mine to deliver. For a satisfaction that lasted about 5 minutes before turning to ash in my mouth. Was it worth it? No. God, no. But I can't take it back. All I can do is move forward and hope that someday, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, I'll wake up and the weight will be gone. And I'll be free. Not forgiven, not redeemed. Just free. That's all I want now. Just to be free. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss stories like this. Because real life is messier than any fiction, and you'll want to be here for what comes next. So yeah, that's my story. The story of how I destroyed my sister's life and ended up destroying my own. The story of how revenge doesn't balance scales, it just tips them farther in the wrong direction. The story of two sisters, a broken family, and the 12 years we spent at war over wounds we didn't know how to heal. It's not a happy ending, but it's not over yet either. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is that some stories don't get neat resolutions, some wounds don't fully heal, some families stay broken. But we keep going anyway. We keep trying anyway. Because what else is there? If you've got family drama, if you're holding onto something that's eating you alive, if you're thinking about revenge, don't. Just don't. It's not worth it. Trust me. I would know. Drop a comment if you've ever held a grudge that ended up hurting you more than the other person. Or if you think I'm still wrong, tell me that too. I can take it. And tell me, would you have done the same thing in my position, or would you have let it go? But for now, I'm done fighting. I'm done hatting. I'm just done. And maybe that's the first step towards something better. Or maybe it's just the end. Either way, I'm finally ready to find out. Thanks for listening.